a month. Hey, hey, everybody! I'm so excited to be here. Oh my goodness. It's weird. Like, I had Ambassador almost a year ago, but still, every time I hear it, I'm like, oh my gosh, Ambassador! It's just crazy. It doesn't seem real. Anyway, so I guess I'm going to start off by kind of telling you guys my story and how I got started and kind of how I got to where I'm at. So I started 2.5 years ago, and I was a stay-at-home mom at the time. I used to be a teacher, and my husband and I kind of had this deal that I have 3 little boys, and we had this deal that when 2 of them were in school, I would go back to work, because 3 in school was really like I was paying more in daycare than I would have been making as a teacher. So we had that deal. And so I had 1 year left when I first found this company. And I had 1 year, and then my middle child was going to be in kindergarten. And so I was just doing everything I possibly could to try to find something to where I wouldn't have to go back to work. I tried several other multi-level marketing companies, 3 other ones to be exact, and I worked really hard at them, and I tried my hardest, but just nothing was happening. And I'm not super outgoing. I'm not super out there. I don't know a ton of people. I'm kind of more shy. And I thought, oh, this just isn't for me. It's not my thing. So then I heard about these crazy wraps, and I really had no interest in the company. All I wanted to do was try the wraps. So I'm skinny, but I do have some problem areas, and so I really wanted to wrap the back of my legs. And so I reached out to Chantel, who's my sponsor, and I said, how do I want to try these wraps, what I need to do. So she was like, okay, we have the loyal customer program, or for $40 more, you can be a distributor. And immediately I shut her down. I was like, there's no way I'm going to do distributor. I've tried that, been there, done that. I'm not doing it. And so she was like, okay, well, that's fine, but just so you know, I'm a busy mom. I'm in grad school. I work full time. I've got kids, and I've been in this company for a little over a year, and I'm making like $20,000 a month. And so I heard $20,000 a month, and I was like, wait, for real? Because in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have to go back to teaching if I was making like $2,000 a month. So if she can make $20,000 a month, then surely I could make $2,000 a month. So I was like, okay, well, let me think about it tonight, and I'll get back to you. So kind of like Mary said, I went and told my husband, like, hey, babe, I'm thinking about doing this. And all he did was he went to our hall closet and opened the door, and there's like stacks of boxes from these other companies that I was in. And he was like, we don't need any more stuff, so let's, But, I was like, okay, whatever. So the next day, I called her back. That's all I could think about that night. I prayed about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really feel like I need to do this. So I called her back the next day, and I was like, I'm in. Signed up. Before I even got my kit, you guys, you don't have to wait on your kit. Before I got my kit, I had Chantel text me some before and after pictures, and I was texting everybody on my phone like, oh my gosh, I just signed up to sell these wraps. I'm so excited, and I put a picture. And of course they're like, wait, what? What in the world? Like, how did that girl have that result? And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're these wraps, you have to buy them. I had my 4 loyal customers like my first day, you guys, because I didn't waste any time. There's nothing in your kit that is going to make you or break you. You just need to start getting the word out that you're selling it. So I did that. I scheduled my first party. I had 3 people at my first party, and Chantel lived states away from me, and she lived in Kansas City, and I was on my own for my first party. I didn't know anybody else who sold It Works, and so I asked all my friends to come, and 3 of them were like, okay, I'll come. And so they came, and I did terrible at my first party. You guys, I went to YouTube beforehand and watched party after party after party, but when those 3 people were staring at me, I just kind of went blank. I was like, I don't know what to say. But none of them signed up. So I had my first party. Nobody signed up. I could have got discouraged. I could have quit, you guys, but I didn't. I kept going. I kept pushing forward. Eventually, those people all signed up. Social media. I posted on social media like crazy, you guys. I have people who are on my team now that say, like, oh, you kept posting and you kept posting, so I had to reach out to you. That's what it should be like, you guys. Of course, you don't want to be salesy, like you were saying earlier. You definitely want your posts to be fun and engaging, and your excitement needs to show through in those. But the important thing is that you're constantly getting the word out. The way Facebook is now, not everybody sees all of your posts. So you could post in the morning, And 90% of your Facebook isn't even going to see that post. So you need to make sure you're posting consistently so that people can see that. So I posted on Facebook. Anybody who would like my post, I messaged them. And I was like, hey, can I come over and wrap you? Like, let's do a wrap appointment. And so I would drag my 3 boys, who at the time were 6, 4, and 3. I dragged them with me to my wrap appointments. And I would go and I would wrap people. And here's what I would say to them when I was wrapping them. There was no small talk. I would walk in, I'm like, hey, I'm so glad you let me come wrap you. You're going to love this wrap. It's so exciting. So here's what we do. And I would just kind of tell them what we were going to do. And then while I was putting the wrap on them, I was like, yeah. So they didn't ask, but I just told them, yeah, so I got into this because my sponsor, she's been in it a year, and she's making $20,000 a month, and that's going to be me a year from now. And I just told them that. And what did that do for them? That made them start thinking, while I was wrapping them, that made them start thinking like the same thing I thought. Like, oh my gosh, if she can make $20,000 a month, I can make $20,000 a month. And I was like, at the end, I didn't say join my team, but I'm like, yeah, and I'm super excited. I'm going to be growing a team, and we're all going to go to the top together. We're all going to be working towards that $20,000 a month. And so by the time I left, usually the people were like, okay, so now what does it take to join your team, and what do you do exactly, and all that. The point is just get them thinking. You always, always, always want people thinking about what you're doing. So I went diamond in a month, 45 days actually, a month and a half. And I signed 19 distributors my first month. And that was because of that story, telling Chantel's story. I didn't have a story yet. It's okay if you don't have a story yet. You don't have to have a story. I told her story. So find a story that you relate to, whether it's your uplines, whether it's Jessica's or Mary's or Senya's or Yvonne's, whoever's story. Find a story that you relate to and tell that story, okay? And be confident that you will be in that spot a year from now. You have to be confident in everything that you say. So I went diamond in 45 days. A couple months later, went double diamond. Presidential, ended up going ambassador diamond in 21 months. And the rest is history, you guys. It takes work. It is not just going to fall in your lap. You work hard. There were so many nights that I was up so late. There were so many nights that I was on my phone when I didn't want to be on my phone. There's so many sacrifices you have to make, but it is so worth it because you get to that point when you're like, wow, I did this. I totally did this. Now I am able to have a little bit more time with my kids and just enjoy everything a little bit more because I worked so hard for those 2 years. So it's super, super important that you know that it is going to take a lot of work. I want to talk about some leadership tips with you guys because I feel like most of the people in this room, you guys are leaders, all right? And so I want you to kind of embrace that. And there's a few things as leaders that we need to do. And the first thing is lead by example. It is so important that you are doing what you want the distributors on your team to be doing. I always tell people, be the distributor you want on your team. So it wouldn't be fair for me to be telling you, you need to be a one team, one mission on Sunday, and then I'm not there. Like, that wouldn't be fair for me. I need to be doing what I want my distributors to be doing. Same thing with, like Mary said, about your, what did you call it? Product order? Personal product order. Personal product order, I like that. Same thing with your personal product order. You can't be expecting your team to run a personal product order if you're not running a personal product order, okay? And I do feel like she said, that's so important. Like, you have to be a product of the products. You have to be using the products. I wouldn't buy products from someone who wasn't using them on a daily basis. I just wouldn't. So think about that, okay? If you want your team to be posting on Facebook, Instagram, you need to be doing that. If you want them to be at trainings, you need to be at trainings. Lead by example. Do what you want your team to do. Another thing that I think is super, super important is communication. So communicating with your team, reach out to them. Find out not just at work stuff. Like, it's so important, like you've heard over and over again today, to build relationships with people. You want to know more than just, are you going to be Ruby next month? You want to know, like, how's your family? Like, how are your kids? What are your goals? Like, what do you want from this? Really get to know your distributors and show them that you care about them. Because like Yvonne, I think, said, this is not just about us. This is about our team. And once you turn it over to being about your team and wanting them to grow, then naturally you're going to grow too, okay? So really just make sure you're in good communication with your team. Find out what you can do to help them. Reach out to them. I like to do message threads with people. Like, you can get a Ruby message thread going and have a Ruby and their teams underneath them in that way, and you're on there to help answer questions, and they get to know each other and really get to learn about each other. You can do Zooms. I don't know if you guys know about Zoom, but it's this awesome video conference call thing that you can do. And you can do Zooms with them, and then you get to see each other face to face, and you can really get to know each other and find out, what you can do to help them, how you can help them. Do potential calls. I can't even tell you how many three-way potential calls I do every week still. I mean, I had 4 just yesterday. Okay, so if you have a potential and you don't know how to seal the deal, reach out to your upline and say, hey, I have this potential. I really, really want them to join. Can you do a 3-way call with me and help me seal the deal because I'm nervous about it? And the reason I like it to always be a 3-way call is because that newer distributor or the one that's not as confident needs to learn how to be confident and needs to learn what to say. And they learn that by listening. And they learn that by hearing it over and over again. So just stay in communication with your team. I loved what Mary said about praying for your team. Honestly and truly, my business changed, like skyrocketed, took off the day I started praying intentionally for my team. So I highly, highly recommend that. If you don't do that, take however long every night and just pray for people. Pray for specific people. Be specific with your prayers. Be specific in what you're asking for. Pray for teams. Pray for, just like I said, be specific. If you know somebody needs to get to Diamond because they need it for their family, pray for that. Like, you guys, you never know unless you ask. So, okay.
Stacy, tell me about that book that is on.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm glad you said that. No, best book ever. And this was the book that had me get to where I started praying intentionally every day. It's called The Circle Maker. It is amazing. If you haven't read it, you need to read it. It is just life-changing, not just for your business, but just in your whole entire life. So it's a great, great book called The Circle Maker. Read it. Thank you for that. Okay, stay positive. Okay, as a leader, you guys, you can't be negative. We don't want negativity. We don't want negativity on our Facebook pages. We don't want it on our team pages. We don't want it anywhere around our team. And let me give you an example of why. Okay, so let's say Sally Sue tried to rap. She didn't get that good of results. And she goes and she puts it on the team page like, oh, I did my first rap and I didn't get good results. Okay? And maybe in her mind, that's like just telling people that. But in my mind, if I just added a new distributor to that team page and the first thing that new distributor saw was, oh, I just did my first rap and I didn't get good results, that's not the first thing I want my new distributor to see that I just added to the page. Stay positive. If you have something that you're not sure about that maybe could be negative, ask your upline. Send a private message. Ask for advice. Or ask it in a different way, like, hey, how many of you guys, like we did earlier, we raised our hands, how many of you guys saw results with your first rap? If so, what exactly did you do to get those results? Or how many of you it took more than one rap to see your results? That's a much more positive way to ask that question than I didn't see any results. It must not work, okay? Just stay super positive. If you have a problem with someone else on the team, you have a problem just in general with the business or whatever, go to your upline in private about it. We always say when you're down, go up, and when you're up, go down. So if you're having a great day and everything's super fabulous, tell your downline all about it. That's the kind of stuff you want to share with your downline. Anything negative you don't want to share with your downline because negativity breeds, and it breeds fast. Believe in yourself. Every single person in this room will be an ambassador diamond if they work hard and they don't give up. I mean, that's just a fact. It doesn't matter if you do it in 21 months or if it takes you 6 years. If you're going to be making on average $32,000 a month, does it matter if it takes you 6 years to get there? No. Raise your hand if you would work for 6 years to be making an average of $32,000 a month. Holla. I mean, for real. Okay. So just don't get caught up in, oh my gosh, she got to Diamond in 45 days. Oh, I'm never going to be able to do this. No, you guys, anybody can do this. There's people that I've got girls on my team that it took them 2 years to get to Diamond. They're owning that Diamond and they're pushing on to double Diamond and they're going to do it. It doesn't matter how long it takes you. We all have different circumstances. We all have, different things going on in our lives. Every single person in this room can do it. And like Yvonne said, you have to believe you can do it. If you don't believe you can do it, you're not going to do it. You've got to believe you can do it. You've got to believe in yourself and know that you're good enough, you're strong enough, you're awesome, you got this, okay? Last couple things is work hard every single day. We were on our call this last week, Bonnie said, and I love this, there's 7 days in a week, and some days not one of them. You have to work every day. You can't let a day go past you when you're not working. Chantel told me when I signed up, she said, every second that you're not doing something, someone else is, and they might be talking to your next rock star. And then they're going to sign with them and not you. So don't let a day go by that you're not working. Don't let a negative thought in your head let you not reach out to someone that you know you should. Don't let anything get in your way. It's so, so, so important that you just know that you're doing the right thing, know that you're reaching out to the right people, and know that you can do it. And last but not least, when you are trying to decide if you should reach out to someone, put this thought in your head. If you don't reach out to them, you're being selfish. Think about how this business has changed so many lives. Maybe it hasn't changed yours yet, but it will, okay? If you're not reaching out to someone and sharing that with them, man, shame on you. You guys, like, this can change their life. This could be a life changer for them. You've got to share it. We have to share it with everyone and let it be up to them whether they decide to do it or not. But we know that we did our part, and we told them about it at least 12 times. And then at that point, if they decide they don't want to do it, that's on them. But we know that we did our job, and we shared it with them. So, you guys, I'm so excited for